Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here on this Thursday morning. Getting into the holiday spirit a little bit. A little bit too much last night for me. What was that song? That hangovers hurt. Hangovers hurt more than they used to. That's a little Hank, right? You're an old country guy. You love that. Yeah, I'm a little hungover this morning.
You have any tear in your beers last night? Or tear in your cranberry vodkas, rather?
Yeah, I don't drink much anymore. So, we had a little business meeting last night. Headed on over to Meat Market and had a nice dinner. Yeah. Well, when you get people from out of town,
Meat Market on a Wednesday night.
It was going too, very crowded, but it always is. And if you get people from out of town, you want to take them to Hyde Park because that's kind of like the place to be. See and be seen in Hyde Park, right? Whatever. So yeah, we go to the Meat Market, get a steak. That's what guys do, right? Have a couple drinks, talk some business. So yeah, we announced this last week that we're merging with DSP Media out of Dallas, and we're working on a couple of some national projects that we're really, really excited about. So yeah, you have to toast with a couple of pops and yeah, Daddy's hurting this morning. The liver don't work like it used to. So you guys got to help me out this morning. These are the days when, let's go to the calls. So if you guys want to jump in, any questions you got, we'll mailbag it today, whatever you want. Any questions you got, nothing is off limits. Even you snarky mofos want to jump in there with some of your crass comments. I'm all for it today. Come on, just bring it. I might get ornery. I don't know. We'll talk all kinds of good stuff today. We'll get into the Bucs. Lightning got a game tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets to finish up a homestand to go 5-1 on the homestand. Columbus is not good right now. They got Johnny Gaudreau, and he's always fun to watch.
Not a lot else.
They got spanked by the Panthers the other night, so they're coming in here as the whipping dog. But isn't that always the Lightning play down to the competition when stuff like this happens? So we hope that they do not do that because they're really on a roll. They're playing some really good hockey. They've beaten some good teams recently in the Panthers. In Seattle, who's a really good team this year, and they're rolling. Excited to see them play. We've got it'll be our big holiday festivus as we do in the Lightning Vision. So my boss John Franzone always comes up with some really good night before Christmas type rhymes and writes them to the hockey stuff. I don't write that brilliant stuff. I tweak it. But he writes the corny, all the corny poetry. So I look forward to that, and I'm going to try to find the most obnoxious Christmas jacket that I can find tonight to wear because I'm in a very festive holiday season early on. Got some shopping already done. I've already done a couple Christmas parties. So yeah, I'm ready.
You want to guess how many gifts I bought this Christmas?
Zero. I'm a late shopper too. I'll be doing a lot of that next week.
What's sad is I missed the entire window, like the online shopping where, you do that like in November, early December.
Right.
Oh, I've missed that window.
It's the same prices are still out there. I mean, save a couple of crazy things, but no, you're fine. And so now are you an Amazon shopper or do you go out to the shops?
At this point, I end up going out to the shop. Yeah.
I like going out shopping. I just like it's part of the process.
I don't know why, but it hurts more to spend money online than it does in person for me.
Really?
Yes. It hurts more online.
Why?
Because I'm having to pay shipping and processing fees and all this kind of stuff. And I feel like I'm getting gypped.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting gypped. So it hurts more.
And there's so much that I can't buy online. Like I don't like buying clothes online. Or shoes.
I need to feel it.
You got it right. You got to feel the fabric, right? You got to see how it fits. Like everything fits differently, and it just, I can't buy that stuff online. I know people do it all the time, but I'm just, shorts, maybe some athletic shorts or something like that. Yeah, but I don't know. I got to feel the fabric. I got to see how it fits on me because everything is different. So yeah, I'm a go to the store shopper, no doubt about it. And I will be at the Golden Diamond Source this week. No question about it. I got to get something nice for Ashley.
I take it back. I did go to the Golden Diamond Source this weekend.
Oh, you did?
Yes. There you go.
Your wedding
I did
bands.
buy a gift. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
We bought our wedding bands for each other. That was our Christmas gift. So there you go. I'm one gift down.
Yeah.
One very expensive gift down.
Yeah, I've already got a couple of things in the planning works. I just got, well, she never listens to the show, so I can tell everybody what I got my daughter. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. She's gonna love it though. She is gonna love it. She is gonna love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So I'm excited about that. She's got to give. I don't know what to get for my son, and he's not coming home for Christmas from Chicago.
Staying in Chicago?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. First time I'll have a Christmas without my son.
That's deep.
24 years.
That's deep.
I can probably handle it. His mother, no way.
So just be two hands on the lasagna this Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I have Ashley and the kids.
That's true.
I'm replacing my kids with other kids. So you're replaced. Never. No, but it's gonna be a fun Christmas. I'm really looking forward to it.
That actually just reminded me real quick before we get to the actual sports talk. The lasagna.
Yes.
I was with my mom the other day.
Right.
And she just dropped a bomb on me.
What?
She goes, so I don't think I'm cooking prime rib this Christmas. And I mean, jaw dropped. I said, well, what are you cooking? She goes, I'm thinking lasagna.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's go.
My
let's go, Saladino. Let's go.
Moral of the story, I'm getting a nice little steak for me only, and everybody else is having lasagna. I'm not eating lasagna on Christmas Day.
Why not?
I hate lasagna.
Oh, you hate lasagna? You're Italian?
I'm Italian. Lasagna? I'm Italian.
You hate your mom's lasagna, and you just said that on the air?
I did. I'm out on Italian food. I'm out on Italian food. I've had way too much of it in my life.
What?
I'm out.
What?
I'm out.
What? You can't. There's no such thing as too much money or too much Italian food. No such thing. You can never get sick of Italian food.
I've been sick of it.
No.
I think Sunday sauce. No.
Sunday sauce.
I'm out on Sunday sauce. I'm out on lasagna. I'm out on all those things.
You have no respect for tradition.
So Nick's getting a nice little steak for himself on the side.
Mom, don't be making something special for him. Do not. He either eats the lasagna and the meatballs or he eats nothing.
What's bad is
do not do that.
You want to hear the line that I dropped?
You want he wants a steak, he can go to Outback and pick it up and be embarrassed and go on Christmas Day and go pick it up.
No, I dropped this one line on her, though, that actually got her a little upset. I was a joke, but I said, I'm like, if you're cooking lasagna, you're decreasing the chances of me showing up on time for the meal.
Man, just such disrespect. I'm all right. All right, we got to get.
Got to move on from that.
Dan Lucas is joining us at 10:15. We've almost eaten up our first segment. James Petracco from Fox Sports will join us at 11:15. Still chasing Ken Hagan. He's a busy man, but we're hoping to get him on sometime this week, maybe today. And we'll be talking we'll have our Gator report today on the Las Vegas Bowl. Boy, did that kind of snuck up on me. And I'm very interested to see this quarterback, Jack Miller. Have you Matt Baker did a nice story on him today in the Times. Very intrigued about seeing this kid. He was at one point the number one prospect in high school. He threw for 53 touchdowns in 2016 and 3,600 yards as a high school freshman. As a freshman, one of his coaches, Thomas Lewis, who played in the NFL for about 5 years as a receiver, says he throws the best deep ball he's ever seen. The dude played in the NFL. So I'm like, I am intrigued.
Yeah, he was part of like that. I think
went to Ohio State.
Logjam quarterback.
Got beat out by C.J. Stroud. No disrespect there at all.
Hey, I'm just saying, Joe Burrow was third string at Ohio State too.
There you go.
Just like Jack Miller was.
Yeah. So this was back in 2018. He was nationally number one with Spencer Rattler and Jack. So this dude has waited his time. He had a driving while impaired this year. Certainly didn't help him, but now Anthony Richardson has gone to the NFL. This is off. Jalen Kitna was dismissed for the child porn deal, and that sounded dismissive. Sorry about that, but yeah, we don't need to get into all that crap. So it is his term it is his turn, and he's going to start against number 17 Oregon State in the Las Vegas Bowl tomorrow night. So I'm intrigued. I definitely want to watch that. See what they got in this guy.
That snuck up on me. Yeah, it snuck up on me that is this the first bowl game?
Yeah. Bowls start this weekend.
I thought that didn't they used to start with like the really low bowls, like the 6-6 teams would play in like the Hawaii Bowl or something, or the Bahamas Bowl.
It's all so weird now.
And we're starting with like the 14th ranked team in the nation playing.
Yeah. I don't know, but
not an easy task for the Gators, by the way.
No, not at all. And they have a history of not playing well in bowl games, especially recently, because they don't, all of their players opt out. But they don't have many NFL players to opt out.
Refresh my memory. Who did the Gators lose to last year?
I think that would be a UCF spanking.
Yeah,
that went on right here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I remember that. I was there.
Yeah,
10 minutes left, and all the fans were walking out.
Yeah,
sad days.
And the Gators were like, "Well, we don't have any of our players." Well, that's a you thing. That's
sounds like an SEC excuse to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. I listen, when it comes to these, I don't fault players for not playing in the Las Vegas Bowl.
Well, I do fault players for not playing in the freaking Orange Bowl. Do you see? We're going to be running scout teams in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, this is. I mean, college football's got to do something about this. I mean, this is a joke. It's a joke.
I don't know. Is it even the players' fault though? Like, these guys are like top 10 picks, and it's like
I don't blame them. Why would you play? I mean, even now, but with the playoff, these bowl games become meaningless. In the old days, back in the old days when we had the bowl, you played all the bowls, and then we picked the winner. There was and there would be 4 or 5 teams that had an outside shot at being the national champion. Yeah, if they went and had crushed somebody in a bowl game, you could jump up. But so everybody played. It was important. But now, the money's too big. You could go out and get injured. Insurance is one thing. I mean, all these players are insured, but you're never going to replace, the timing of going into the NFL the year you're supposed to go into the NFL. It's crippling. Yeah, if you get hurt. But I'm not sure I know what a good answer is for situations like this. Maybe maybe there's something you could do with eligibility. Like if you do get hurt in a bowl game, you can, and you're a senior and it's your last year, you get to come back for another year if you so decide, if you want to, and that'll give you another opportunity to impress the scouts and show them you're healthy. I think that would be something that would help them pay them money straight up. I think players would be much more if they said, hey, everybody in the bowl game, if you're deemed a eligible NFL player, then you have a shot at the NFL and legitimate. And I don't know who's going to make those determinations. You get $50,000 to play. Ooh, you want them to play? They're paying the schools $10 million, not just directly fund to the players.
Well, don't these bowls, like a lot of them give out those like care packages?
Yeah,
and some of them
the swag is unbelievable.
And the swag,
but there used to be like a $1,000 limit on it or $500 limit on what they could do.
Like I thought,
push the limits on that.
I thought when UCF played in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl against LSU,
they all got PlayStation.
Everybody got PlayStations.
Yep. Yeah, all that. The swag that's one of the big things about going to a bowl game. You get the big swag, but so everybody gets that anyway. And pay them, see if they'll play. Would that make a difference to a kid? You say, hey, how about $100,000 for the game?
I don't know. The NIL discussion, I don't want to go down that route, but I saw things yesterday that there was like, I guess like what you think guys are getting paid by NIL, it's not as big as you might think.
I would
and there's some interesting
numbers
stuff going
on this.
I don't know, but I'm getting the feeling, and I'm just like seeing what everybody's talking about that actually covered the game, that these numbers aren't as big as a lot of people think.
Yeah.
The terms that are being thrown out there. Yeah. So I don't know, because
Anthony Richardson was reportedly making over $1 million this year.
Who knows?
Jordan Travis, I'm told, will be making at least $1 million next year.
The interesting thing,
$1 million this year.
The interesting thing, did you see the Western Kentucky quarterback? He's like one of the most prolific passers. He entered the portal, and a week later, he withdrew from the portal, and the day later, he announced this big NIL deal, and I think it was with like Ferrari or some kind of big car sponsorship. And I'm like, oh, well, that's obvious.
To stay at Western Kentucky?
That's what it looks like, obviously. Because he got this big car dealership the day after he withdrew from the portal. So
NIL
that's college football for you.
Yeah, NIL is getting very, very interesting. There's no question about that. Here it is. Scotty Fitz from AMS Mortgage AMS Tampa just sent me this, and this is, top 10 NIL earners. Bryce Young, $3.2 million. CJ Stroud, $2.5 million. Caleb Williams, $2.4. Spencer Rattler, $2 million. Jackson Smith in Jigba at Ohio State, $1.7. Will Anderson Jr., $1.6 billion. Pass rusher to Alabama. Bijan Robinson, the running back, $1.6 at Texas. Quinn Ewers, $1.5 at Texas. Jordan Addison got $1.4 million to go to USC, and Keyshawn Boutte got $1.4 million to go to LSU. Remember Keyshawn Boutte was talking about, remember he scrubbed his Instagram after the FSU loss, the LSU. When LSU lost FSU. And then, he didn't get a lot of targets in the game, and there was rumblings that he was going to leave. That's probably why he had to stay, because he was getting paid $1.4 million to stay.
And he didn't even enter the draft. He's staying again.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, and that's the good side of NIL is I think a lot of these guys would normally go to the draft, but if you can make, $1.4 million in college and include and improve your draft stock the next year, I think you do that. So, yeah. It giveth and it taketh away. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Dan Lucas from News Channel 8 is going to join us. Always fun to talk to Dan Lucas. We'll get his thoughts on the Bucs, Rays Stadium right near the studio in downtown Tampa, WFLA. So we'll get all the fun stuff from our man Dan Lucas. Quick break. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigation, emergingimd.com, and the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, who will bring us the Gator Report. We'll talk more about the Las Vegas Bowl later in the show. So stay with us. Quick break. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan. Three 386-722 American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Show, brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center and the Jeeves Law Group, JEVES lawgroup.com, that brings you the Gator Report coming up in our second hour as we're going to preview the Las Vegas Bowl. And the new quarterback for the Gators, Jack Miller, will be going out there slinging it around. All right, I want to welcome in a great holiday greeting to my good friend Dan Lucas, lead sports anchor at News Channel 8, Emmy award-winning broadcaster. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Yeah, just racking up all the Emmys.
Yeah. You and Rich Hollenberg and Doug Wechter, man, you guys out there. How you doing, buddy? I haven't talked in a while.
Category now is understaffed office. That's the category. We would sweep that.
Yeah, it's not like the old days, buddy, when we had we had 6-7 full-time people in sports, did we not, at one time? Right?
We had an army back in the day. We did a lot of fun things, and we try our best today for sure. But you get what you can get done as best you can, and those days were fun because you could cover all the beats, the Bucs and the Rays and the Lightning, and still go out and do great feature stories. That was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, because we, and this is nothing against what's going on now. It's just a different time. I mean, the TV stations were making gazillions of dollars back then because there wasn't all this cable saturation and social media. We're talking about 20 years ago. And, huge budgets, ratings were huge, and just things have changed. Everything's fractured now. So, you do what you can do.
Absolutely.
You guys do a great job, certainly, with what you're working with.
Thank you,
and allowed to work with. It's I know. And when you've been, when you've done it a different way, it's always hard to kind of, scale it back, but that's life. You got to adjust. But those were great days, man. Those were the golden days of television. No doubt. All right. So I haven't talked to you in a while about this Bucs team, and I've completely lost confidence in this coaching staff. This team seems really fractured to me. They're not having any fun. I don't see chemistry on this team. I was just watching a video that's making the rounds of Brady walking up and down the sidelines in San Francisco, yelling at everybody. We'll play the audio here in a little bit. And it's just like nobody's listening. He's just like he's like speaking to air. He's like, "Come on, we got to fight." And there's like everybody's just looking down. What's your take on this?
Well, you look at the roster, you look at the depth chart, everything on paper. It's stunning that they're in this position, and it's a blessing that they're still alive in the NFC South race, have a shot to win it, and probably will. But this just, to me, smells like 2008. And 2008, for those who don't really remember it well, was really, it was the end of the Gruden era.
Yeah.
And it was the beginning of very, very dark times for the Bucs that went essentially a decade.
Yeah.
And that year, the Bucs had 9 wins in a very, very competitive NFC South.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they lost their last 4 games that season. They went from They went from clinching the division to needing just one victory to get into the playoffs, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And they had a loss. I remember they lost to the Raiders on the last day of the season, a very lackluster showing. And Gruden was fired.
Yeah.
And that team had talent on it as well. And
yeah.
I have that feeling. You don't want to see the thing get blown up, but you knew when they went all in, and we had some very good days not so long ago,
Mm-hmm.
that the salary cap was going to be an issue. Coaching staff would be an issue. Brady's age would be an issue. All these factors are coming to a head. And then you throw in the fact that you're not executing in games. You're making players that you never thought would be liabilities on penalties or making penalties. It just doesn't. It's sad. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I feel for Bucs fans for sure.
So, what wasn't in the locker room yesterday? Did you do locker yesterday?
I wasn't in the locker, but Bob Hansen, Karen Loftus were in there, and guys doing the right things. And I'll tell you something about this group of players. We heard from Logan Ryan yesterday, also Robert Hainsey. These guys it's a proud group. Yeah. And so when you get to this stage, it becomes your own individual pride, really.
Yeah.
Even more than the team.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to go out there and look bad. Nobody. And that's what's dumbfounding to this team. And the only way you're going to get out of it is to get yourself out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they've got to go on the field. They're going into a game Sunday. They're not favored at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have already written it off.
Yeah.
And if they get a result Sunday, like it's going to be a shock. That's unfortunate, because this is when you saw the schedule come out in the springtime and you saw this stretch, you thought, oh man, look, 49ers on the road, Bengals at home. Man, it's going to be a crazy December. This team's going to be jockeying for playoff position.
Yep.
And now it just feels like they're just trying to get to the finish line.
It's bizarre. And, I'm watching Brady on the sidelines in the video, just yelling at guys, come on, it's not that hard to fight harder. And they're just not responding. And it's kind of, it was his homecoming. I said all last week they're going to get their asses kicked just because the 49ers are so physical and the Bucs are so dysfunctional right now. And the 49ers defense is just, as good as it gets. And this offense is just incredibly dysfunctional. And that's exactly what we saw. Yeah. And but it was still, even though I really thought that was going to be the case, it was still astounding to watch how bad the Bucs were. I mean, they were non-competitive. I mean, just non-competitive. And against the two best teams they played this year, I would say the Chiefs and the 49ers, they were non-competitive. But then you go back to the Cowboys game and you're like, my God, they destroyed the Cowboys in week 1. They beat them up.
Yeah.
And is this team so much different? I mean, Shaq Barrett's gone. Vita Vea was gone for most of the last game. But I mean, to be non-competitive, it's not just the players. It's not just personnel. There's just no chemistry on this team at all.
Yeah. I talking to Todd Bowles on Monday when I sat down with him, we do our weekly sit down. My approach or my thinking was that, what's going on offensively? That's going on a limb, right? Asking that question.
Yeah.
And he immediately turned it to defense. And, I know that's his forte, and let's be honest, those are probably his guys, and he's game planning that side of the ball.
Right.
But maybe he's right, JP. You go back in the Bucs glory days, the defense, carried the 2002 team until the offense was able to really get going.
Right.
That's just the way it was. This defense isn't that defense, but in all of their wins this year, 6 of them, every single win, the opponent had 16 points or less.
Mm-hmm.
And that is opponents to field goals and getting off the field. Call it textbook, whatever you want. But those are the games where the defense hung in there, and something was able to happen to get the Bucs over the hump and get the win. Quite frankly, that's just how it's going to happen. If they get a couple of wins here to finish out the season, they're not going to blow anybody out. they're going to have to eke them out and figure out a way to win the division. But it's going to be defense containing Joe Burrow and frustrating him, somehow shutting down that offense this weekend. Joe Mixon on the run game, and somehow just keeping these guys to 20 points or less. I would say 20 would have to be the target number.
Right.
You're gonna hold the Bengals to 20
with a defense.
That's what it's gonna take.
With a defensive secondary that beat up. I mean, we still don't know if Antoine Winfield's going to play this week. Jamel Dean's likely out. SMB is probably out. So here we go with Zion McCollum and D Delaney, and guys we're getting off the street to play. Now teams may not play, and Tyler Boyd might not play, but somehow you just feel Joe Burrow could throw to me and for 1,000 yards. He's too good.
Yeah,
he's just too good, and this defense does not fare well. This defense didn't fare well against inexperienced bad quarterbacks. Against the really good ones, they'll be exposed, and I expect to see that on Sunday, unfortunately. So,
the good sign yesterday was a full practice for Sean Murphy Bunting, and I always think today is the more critical day because now you're getting guys have had early in the week you don't want to push injuries. Later in the week you have to test injuries because you're going to have to make a decision by Friday. Again, so I would think SMB gets through today's practice. If it's full, I would feel confident that he's ready to go. But we've learned Vea being out for so much the other game. When it's Vea or Hicks out of game, absolutely disjointed. And when Akeem Hicks was out for a while, you saw that. And when he came back in, what a great difference it made for the defensive line next to Vea. But I feel like it's both. It can't be one or the other. They are it's so fun to watch together. But with one out of the lineup, it doesn't work. And that's first. It starts with stopping the opponent's run.
Yeah, no question.
Something that the other day, did you ever think you'd see Christian McCaffrey run over the Bucs like that? He's never. No. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's awesome, but the Bucs have always contained him. Always.
Yeah. Well,
a
little different play caller
now. Huge day against them.
Yeah, a little different play caller in San Francisco, and he knows how to use that guy. That's for sure. And when you turned on the tape, I watched a lot of the All 22 yesterday. When you turn on the tape defensively, boy, they just got manhandled. And you saw that against Cleveland. That's one thing that really, when Vita Vea is out or Akeem Hicks is out or both are out, the Bucs suddenly are very, very small and not very strong on defense. And you can steamroll them. I mean, JTS is not a guy that's going to hold the edge, against a step tackle. He's just not. And, I would say pretty much the same about Nelson and some of these other guys. Not that
Nassib's injured too.
Yeah.
Carl Nassib's nursing an injury as well. Everybody you're going to put out there.
Yeah.
Mixed up or not even available. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
It's ugly. Hey, but Lightning are playing really, really well. This is a team that's starting to gel, and we'll see them tonight against Columbus, a team that is struggling big time. But the Lightning are, they've won 11 of 14 now. And Vassie has started to find his groove. In December, his goals against are below 2 now. So this Lightning team is starting to hum. So put the Bucs away till the draft and let's go watch some Lightning.
Yes, gives you something to watch in December. And isn't it great that we came into the season and the Lightning it just didn't look right, and you're missing guys and he's always available, and that type of thing. And you thought to ourselves, what is happening here in these games? And Cooper just kept preaching patience. And here we are in December, and it's still just now getting there. It's not even there yet. And to watch Braden Point the other night escape by 3 Seattle players, and the poor Adam Larson. He was the last defenseman on that goal. I've probably watched it 100 times, and I'll watch it 100 times more. I insist the puck went under his skate.
Yeah,
that Point made and then he flipped it over Gustas or the goaltender's shoulder and knocked him out of the game. All the guys that are needing to step up are finally doing it. And the other thing I love about the Lightning right now is the new faces they've integrated into this have finally had a chance to kick in, and that includes your Brandon Hagel, who have now had a full cycle
Nick Paul
with the team. And there was a time when you had the Hagel and Paul arrivals, and Paul caught on quicker. And I thought we were a little bit down on Hagel. Maybe it was unfair, because now we're seeing the fruits of what he can do, and I think it's just a really good situation. And like you said, Vazzy is coming into his game. This is a team that has gone so far in the playoffs the last 3 years that you just cannot come in September and October and be at that level. It's impossible. It's not sustainable if you think you're going to play at that level. But you have a responsibility when you get close to the holidays and we flip over to the next year. Now you're starting to run out of games and things start to shape up. And the Lightning are going to be right in the mix. The one thing I really want to see them do, JP, is I want to see them go for a better playoff seeding. John Cooper is right when he says the object is getting in the playoffs. I get it. But that was a hard road last year. Away series. And that's a tough way to do it. And you're in a division that's tight, and you might have the President's Trophy team in it. And so if you're going to play Toronto in the first round or Florida in the first round, it's home ice. Get the home ice. Just make that happen.
Yeah, I think if they have Breakpoint last year in the playoffs, it's a totally different series with Colorado, just because he's just such a good player, and we've seen that. So I'm very anxious to get back to the playoffs with a fully healthy team. And there's a long way to go, but there's the reports of the Lightning's demise early this year by many in the national media that their window is past and they're getting too old and they're slow. I'm like, keep talking that way. Because I think Cooper just absolutely loves that. He eats that stuff up because he knows that this team is on the come, and I like what I'm seeing a lot. Hey, have you got a chance to talk to USF's new coach, Alex Golesh? I have not. We have not. We're hoping to get him on the program soon, but that whole
I got to have a brief. We're gonna have him in the studio here soon.
Okay.
They're gonna bring him to us, and it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to talk to him at length. Just a brief conversation the day he was introduced, and I'm fascinated by his story and his history of getting into football and rising through the coaching ranks. And I get all the fans being a little bit, I'm gonna wait and see because this feels like we hired another coordinator who may or may not work. I understand that. And I think he understands that as well. But this is a guy who has come up under a pretty good tree, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he's this is his chance. He's going to do it his way. And I'm really hoping that things work out for him as well. And as he puts his staff together, I think he's not alone in that anyone who comes into a job this time of year, it's brutal. Because of the portal the way it is now, and the first signing day coming up. So these players are, he's got to convince them to want to come here to USF. That's the bottom line. You can talk about stadiums all you want, on-campus stadiums, facilities, and you got all the pieces in place. And Jeff Scott, in my opinion, was a tremendous coach for the players, a motivator. And you saw what happened there. It didn't work. You got to have the players. To make the program click and win some of these big games. So I hope he pulls it off. And he still speaks Russian to his grandparents. To me, that's one of the fascinating things I want to have a conversation about. Moving to the U.S.
Yeah, born in Moscow.
His parents moved here. During really the fall of the Soviet Union, and he's a child. He doesn't know what's going on, but he knows. He'll tell you. He remembers tanks driving down his street in Moscow, And so his parents, relocated to the U.S. to start a new life. They had a pretty decent life there. Came here with virtually nothing.
Yeah.
And so this kid growing up, he turns on the TV. He doesn't know what he's watching. He's watching Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? I thought it was pretty cool. What is this? And that's how he got into football, American football. Now he's coaching. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome story.
Last week or the couple weeks ago, and I kind of got played by Dion, that he was coming to USF. I think you saw that on Twitter, and to get his money up in Colorado. So, which happens,
So I read, it's funny. I read, I saw the Twitter activities. Let's say, what, fine. Take the lump, let people have their fun.
Yeah.
But
whatever. You
thought,
get in this business.
I said to myself, well, so now JP, you got to turn it around and get a cut of that.
Right. Damn.
That's a big razor. Exactly. He owes you that.
Yeah, and when I see him, I'm going to ask him for it in cash. Absolutely, 100%. Hey, it's the compliment that he knows that I would at least get enough play on my Twitter that it would get the word out there. And he certainly got a little bit more than what he was asking USF for. And frankly, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that he would have come to USF had they paid him that money. Had they paid him $5 a year for 5 years, and gave his assistants $5 million. That's where he got a little bit more than that out of Colorado, right? A little bit more. I think I'm almost positive he would have come here. I think it was a better situation for him. I think he thinks that as well, and better situation for Shedeur, and that was very important for him to be for Shedeur to have success. And I think I don't know. Listen. I'm all in with Alex. I'm supporting him 100%, and I hope he does a tremendous job. And I think Mike Kelly is one of the best athletic directors in the nation. But this was his choice, and he didn't. I'm sure they don't have the money at USF to pay him. They don't have the money at Colorado either. The athletic director was very clear about that. They said we'll find a way. I just think where this program is right now, that Dion would have been a better choice, and I would have ponied up the money, and I would have, but I'm not in Mike Kelly's shoes. He knows a lot more about it than I do, and you're completely ceding the entire football program, if not a left athletic program, to Dion. He's going to be running the show, not you. So,
right, exactly.
I mean, and so maybe he wasn't comfortable, and I don't blame him. So the choice he made, and we'll see what works. But I know you would love to have Dion here.
I said. I would have a Dion. I would just want a Dion segment every day. I don't care what he's talking about. I think it would be tremendous. But I think I've said this to you before, and I feel like we're at a crossroads, not only in college football, but for USF football in particular, because it's going to go one road or another here very quickly. When the eventual expansion keeps going, we know they always say the door is closed for this conference or that conference.
Right.
But as we know, USF was left behind again with the teams now heading to the Big 12. That's gone, but there is going to be another, and it's going to get to a point where it will finally tap out, and you just don't want to be left behind. You can't, and USF is in such a spot to take advantage of that.
Yep.
Just needs to be a sustainable competitive program, and you watch, the thing will just go crazy. It's right there. It's right there, but it's also in danger of being irrelevant, and that's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. It can go either way. This is a huge hire, so hopefully Mike Kelly made the right one, and we'll see how it goes. But if he does really well, right? If he does really well the first 3 years, you're not going to get that immediate bounce that you would have got with Dion, right? You would have got all the attention, all the money, everything would come rolling in. And if he leaves in 2 years, you've got 2 years of just, being relevant. Even before he wins, he's already relevant. For Alex, he's got to win first to be relevant, right? So it's going to take time for him to become relevant and the USF to become relevant. They got to win 8, 9, 10 games to become relevant, right? And if he wins 8, 9, 10 games the next 3 years, he's gone. So you're
exactly,
and you don't get the bounce. You don't get the immediate bounce. So
if he gets those 8 or 9 wins or 10, then they probably win the American. And when the playoff expands, it's my understanding the American gets the spot.
Yep.
So that's the fast track to relevance. is to win this league. I don't care. You can poo-poo all the teams in the league all you want. But if you win it, you're going to get a game on national TV against the big boy, and anything can happen when you're in a playoff situation. That's the way they're going to get relevant,
right,
real quick.
All right, we shall see. All right, partner. Appreciate your time. What do you got planned for Christmas? Anything fun? Any good trips?
Got me mum. She's coming in from London next week. She's been in the Christmas holidays here. Yeah, she's getting a little Florida fun.
Nice.
And so that's going to be fun. And as far as work goes, we're just trying to keep the Bucs on the respirator here.
Yeah, there you go.
We got a big weekend coming up tomorrow and Saturday. Polk County has a shot, JP, at not one but 2 state titles in football.
Wow.
Lake Wales plays tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Wales, a tremendous story, 14-0, and just a rising program over the years. They're going to play Daytona Beach, Mainland. Lakeland, as we know, powerhouse, ready to go. They're playing Venice Saturday afternoon, all Bay Area game. Area champion this weekend.
Nice.
Hopefully 2 from Polk County. That would be awesome.
You know what? We haven't followed high school football at all here this year. I feel terrible about that. So, because I used to love our Friday nights, man, just the best.
Yeah. They are the best for sure.
Yeah, Lake Wales. That's a great story. 14-0. All right, we'll be tuned in to News Channel 8 this weekend to see all the highlights, see what happens. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, JP. Be good. All right, be good.
Great Dan Lucas right there. Yeah, I feel we need to get on that. Next year, we apologize. This year, we've not been given. Last year, we had some coaches on each and every week, which was fun. Really enjoyed doing that. So we need to get back to that next year. Get some high school football coverage.
I know. What was the big upset that happened earlier? What was it, November? Somebody beat Jesuit for like the first time.
Oh, Tampa Catholic.
Tampa Catholic, right?
Yeah, first time in like 21 years or something.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to that game and be on the Jesuit sideline, so I'm glad I missed that. Something came up late, so I'm glad I missed that because I would have got blamed for that.
Exactly. You would have been the blame.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that would have been my first one since being at Channel 8. We used to cover them all the time, and I would have got blamed for that, and rightly so. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, I want to play this Brady video. I just retweeted it. This is sideline video. A little dicey because the 49ers content department put this out, and I'm not sure that the Bucs. I don't know. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic, but we'll talk about it when we come back. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Email them if you've had your car totaled and you did not get the money you thought you were owed, which is probably the case. You may have a case. Free consultation. Give them a call and find out. You could recover thousands, hundreds of dollars, or at Christmas time. That'd be fun. That's the Jeeves Law Group. Back at 3. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605. Oh, Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Gold and Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Gold and Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julie collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call, find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately, or at least the same day. 813-294-7595, or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment needed for optimal result. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We appreciate you guys joining us. Brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and American Mortgage Services of Tampa, the great Scott Fitzgerald. I saw the rates went up again yesterday for mortgage rates. So, but if you do need to refi or you got to get a new house, there's still some. He'll get you the lowest rate, whatever it is. He will get you the lowest rate because he competes against all the other banks. And you go to one bank or you're dealing with your the same person that you have your mortgage with, and you're trying to refi. Trust me, it's going to take you forever. You don't have to go through them. You can go through others. So give Scott a call, or maybe it's better to email him, scott@amstampa.com, and he will take care of you, give you all the up-to-date stuff that's going on in the mortgage business, which it's a little crazy. We got to get him on soon to kind of figure out what the hell's going on out there. If you guys want to jump aboard and comment on anything this morning, we also already got a bunch of comments coming in. Always jump on YouTube, or you can get us on Facebook or Twitter, and we will put your comments up. Like this one from Mark Davis, short and sweet. The Bengals will trample the Bucs. Yeah, I think I read last night the Bucs are 1-9-1 against the spread this year. That does shock.
I'm assuming they're an underdog, right?
Yeah, I think they're 4-point underdogs this week. Last week, we played guess the spread, and I said 49ers by 10.5, and it was actually 3.5. I was a little closer than
You won money though, regardless.
I did, yes.
Yeah, it's 3.5 now. 3.5. So it's
huh?
coming down a little bit.
Maybe because of the Bengals injuries.
You want to look at the Bucs injury list?
I know it's brutal.
Which, by the way, did you see who's on it yesterday?
Who's not on it?
That's true, but our Julio Jones is right back on it with the
there you go.
didn't
Julio,
practice, so I'm like, here we go again.
Well, he did hit the ground on that one pass that was woefully.
Every time he gets up, I'm always like, is he hurt?
He'd struggled to get up on that one. He dove for a ball, and he struggled to get up.
He struggles to get up after everything he does.
T. Corral points out in our talk about players not playing in their bowl games, the Noles have all their starters playing. That's right, they do.
Yeah,
the Noles are building.
I'm about to say they have a core that really wants to stay and build something here.
They really do.
And they want to keep playing.
Yeah, we're we'll talk about that next week as we get closer to their bowl game. But they do. There's a momentum at Florida State that's big time right now.
I think Benson, he's roommates with Verse, and Verse hasn't made a decision yet on the draft. And Benson said, "I'm hardcore trying to get him to stay."
If Verse comes back,
he thinks he's close.
Wow. And that's a real good part of NIL that people don't talk about. There's no chance any of these guys come back if not for NIL.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's a game changer when it comes to that. If they can make $1 million, because if you're not a first or second round pick, you can make almost as much money in college your last year as you would your first year of professional football.
And you're going to play more.
You're going to play more. You're going to be in the spotlight. Fun. You're probably, if you're a third round pick, you might play, but not a lot. Though your whole life changes. I mean, when you go to the NFL, it's, it's better in a lot of ways, but it loses its innocence, of college football and being on a college campus. I mean, it's pretty professional anyway, but there's a marked difference. So, and I've always said it's the same as basketball and football. If guys had an opportunity to stay, they will stay. If they can make money in college and they can stay, they would choose to do that because, going to the NBA, they're over their heads. It's hard to, when you're an 18, 19-year-old kid, just from a social standpoint, it's not really comfortable because a lot of the guys are 27, 28, 20, so even older.
Yeah. Unless you're like one of those like top picks, like a Bryce Young, like if you can opt in and get you'd get a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option at $8 million usually is that slot?
Yeah, for
a first overall pick.
Yeah.
I mean, you're guaranteeing yourself. Do the math right there.
Oh, yeah.
You're guaranteeing yourself like $35 million at least for 4 years.
If you're a first or second round pick, I mean, you almost got to go because you're risking injury, and when you risk injury for a whole season.
Yeah, that's why I can't think of his name, but like the Penn State offensive tackle, he's like the number 1 tackle in this class, and he decided to stay for another year, and everybody's like, that's surprising, but he was going to be a top 10 pick.
That's pretty crazy. But you love college football. You love the atmosphere.
I don't mind it. College football to me has more of a fun factor to it.
Oh yeah.
Like to me, the NFL, and it is a job. It just feels like work.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
the Bucs right now just feels like work that nobody wants to be a part of.
God, yes, it's a totally different deal. And when it comes to that, but guys' livelihoods are on the line, and you don't play well. You got some 32-year-old man that's. His lunch money's on the line here for playoff check or something.
Yeah.
He's giving you the stink eye, and it's different. It's different. And you're the big man on campus. You're the star. You're playing in primetime games. Hell yeah! What would be more fun, staying at Penn State and competing for a championship, or getting drafted by the Browns, and being
or the Bucs,
or the Bucs, yeah. At this point, yeah. No fun at all. All right, so this is video. I want to play this from Tom Brady. This is him on the sidelines against the 49ers. I'm not exactly sure what point of the game this was. I mean, see if I can get a scoreboard in the background or what have you, because that kind of adds a little bit more context to it. But yeah, let's just play the audio. This is from
when they were losing.
Yeah. Well, how bad were they losing? Was it 14-0, 21-0, 28-0, 35-7? At what point? I don't know that. But anyway, this is what it sounded like.
Gotta be better than that. That ain't gonna win. That's not gonna win. That's good enough to suck right there. Let's go, fellas. Let's go. Hey, it ain't that hard for us to fight harder, right? For us, let's fight harder. Unless we want to quit. If we want to quit, let's go. Yeah. Let's fight.
Ooh.
What is that, like the G-rated version of his rants?
Yeah.
Let's clean up the suck.
Yeah.
What is that?
So, and nobody is like looking at him. It's a pretty tight shot, so you can't really see who he's talking to. But, nobody's, getting up and joining in, that's for sure. It's just him on the sideline yelling at guys sitting on the bench. And that, I don't know about you, but that's sad. Why is that sad to me? Like, that's like nobody's even going to get up and yell with him. Nobody's going to, it's just like nobody cares.
It's not fun. Nobody's having fun.
So it's not supposed to be fun. Well, it should be fun. But
it should be when you're winning. It's fun. But
winning is fun.
But nobody seems interested in even. That's what I'm saying.
But when you're losing like that and you're getting your ass kicked, when you're in the quarterback, it's like
because this culture has eroded so much.
Yeah,
so much in a span of like 6 months. This culture has eroded.
Right.
And I can't, for the life of me, I can't figure it out. But it's
I don't
eroded.
see like last year. Like I don't see that happening last year. And certainly not the year before. I would, Brady would be up and guys would be, joining in, coaches would be joining in, or there'd be more of it. He's just walking the sidelines, yelling at people, and they're not even acknowledging him. It's weird. And nobody's like, I don't know, man. First of all, I like it. I don't hate it. I think, there'll be a lot of people that'll be like, he's not playing well. Why is he yelling at people?
It's a video for like a lot of people to latch on to and see, he doesn't enjoy Tampa. He's done with it. He's frustrated. He wants out and all this stuff. And it's like, he was doing that stuff in 2020. He was yelling at people. When he started yelling more, they usually started winning more.
Right.
But for whatever reason, he's been yelling a lot this year. They're not really winning more.
No.
And not a lot of people are responding.
They're not even responding.
But
that's why
nobody's responding to anybody. They're not responding to Bulls. They're not responding to him. Nobody.
Mike Evans. It feels like they've had enough of the GOAT. Like I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying, but it just seems like that they're kind of sick of a lot of the attention being on him
Well,
and nobody else.
It's always
and-
going to be that way.
I
That
agree.
I don't
agree.
I don't
And
think
when you're winning, of course, then none of that matters.
Yes,
but
but
when you're losing, it's all magnified.
to the relationship with Mike Evans and Brady, and maybe I'm being naive here, but I don't think there's anything there like personal, like with their friendship or the relationship.
No.
It's just
Two guys don't want to win that are frustrated.
Yeah, and I've been trying to listen to more people about that Silver report of how to decipher it, and like there's like lacking context in there. And I forget who it was. It might have been John Ledger that I saw him on Twitter yesterday was talking about it.
Yeah.
And what really happens is like Brady does have these meetings. It's nothing new, but all he's doing is like talking to Mike or talking to Chris and being like, hey, these are the plays we're running. The coaching staff knows it. But here, if you get this look, then do this with your route.
Right.
Or just simple things like that. And those are things that like the coaching staff has never known about, doesn't really need to know about. They're just different things in the plays that Leftwich and Bowles already know. That's between the receivers. So there was like context left out in that. So like a lot of people are like really like, grabbing onto that is like, what's going on with Mike Evans and Brady. I just think for whatever reason, the miscommunications there, I don't think there's anything with like a friendship or relationship standpoint that's fractured.
Well, it just seems seems fractured. Like it used to seem like, Brady was the Pied Piper. I don't get that vibe anymore. And this is kind of the, a perfect example of it. This is from somebody commented on Twitter, Subblegens. Thank you, Subblegens, if I'm saying that right. Said, I thought one of the reasons that Brady was brought here was to create a winning culture and attitude that would remain even after he retired. Seems like the rest of the team has a loser's mentality, even though Brady is still here. Interesting. Yeah.
I can't really disagree with that.
I don't either.
I mean,
I don't either.
There is no winning culture to me that's staying here after he leaves.
No.
Based on what we're seeing at the moment.
No. I mean, and that's something that's kind of a residue thing that you'd see in the building. It's hard for us to really.
Yeah, but it's just, again, like, look where Brady left with New England. Has the winning culture left that team at all?
And they still have their same coach.
They still have the same coach, yes, but has their culture left them at all? Even when they have subpar talent, they still win football games.
Yeah, I would say no, and that's still the.
It doesn't matter that they have two offensive coordinators who aren't even offensive coordinators.
Yeah,
and the mentality hasn't left them. But for whatever reason, I feel like when Brady leaves here, that mentality to me is going right out the door.
I think it already has. That's the point of that comment. I think it has. But we said this a lot of times this year. It's a different Brady this year. It's a different Brady because it's not the guy that's been all in. You can't make that argument. He hasn't been all in mentally. He hasn't been all in physically, leaving his team a couple of times. So it is what it is. And I think, it seems like a big mystery, but it's really not. The change in personnel, the fact that Brady has had so many off the field issues, like you say, noise. There's been noise all year long since the beginning of the retirement. It's been nothing but noise around here. We didn't have that the first 2 years. So it has been a different Brady. It has been a different situation, and the results are dramatically different and different personnel. You've lost a lot of key guys. It's really not that much of a mystery, but I think a lot of people it's Tom Brady. How does this happen? Well, look. So it is what it is.
Here's a comment from James right at you. JP, all of a sudden you're 100% or 1,000% anti-Brady, a complete 180. Basically, you go from body and soul to Brady is the cause of our woes.
Dude, you just keep trying to put words in my mouth. I've said, how many times have I said it's not all Brady? It's not all Brady, but Brady is the reason you won, right? He's the biggest reason that you won. And now that you're losing, he's the biggest reason that you're losing in my opinion. And again, it's not because it's all his fault. It's because you have to build everything around him. All right. And maybe saying he's the biggest reason we're losing is incorrect because that brings a negative connotation. So I need to find a different way to phrase it. What I'm trying to say is when you build everything around Brady, when you have to build everything around him, you have to have a way above average offensive line. You got to have an effective running game. You got to have really good weapons for him to use, right? And he needs Gronk because Gronk is his secret weapon, his security blankets for third downs, for running game, for all this stuff. And for red zone, especially. And you don't have any of that. So again, it's everything's about 12. Everything's about 12. And you have to, and the reason you can't run a lot of different things is because he's a statue back there. He's not going to make any plays off script. It's not going to happen. And that happens all over the league all the time. Hell, freaking Kansas City's offense is built on that, and they're one of the best teams in the league. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. I mean, you look at the better teams in this league now, they've got quarterbacks that make plays off script and with their legs. Ours does not. And that's because we built this team, set up around Brady. And when he's not performing, and he's not performing to his level,
and he knows it too.
Yeah, of course he does.
He said it this week on his podcast, the Let's Go podcast, that I have to be better. I'm making crappy throws. Like, he knows it. Like I blame the coaching for probably 80% of this. That's just me.
Yes, I agree with that.
I blame it for 80%.
That's a better way to say it. I think the coaching staff is the number one reason.
I think they're 80%. I'm not saying Brady's the other 20%. No, but he's part of the 20% of players have got to play.
Right.
Players have got to play. And the veterans on this team go up and down the list of veterans. Is Tom Brady playing to his fullest capability?
No.
Is Mike Evans?
No.
Is Chris Godwin? And not even because he can't, not even because he's not trying to, he just physically can't yet.
No.
Is Donovan Smith playing up to his fullest capabilities? Hell no. I'll keep going. Is Vita Vea the same Vita Vea?
Nobody.
Is Levante David making the same plays? Is Devin White making the same plays? Is Carlton Davis making the same plays? I just went through every single veteran that was part of this Super Bowl team, the nucleus that's still here, and you can't give me one that is playing to their fullest capabilities.
Exactly. So
players got to play too.
I'm just it seems like I'm 1,000% anti. I'm not. I'm just saying he's not the same guy. He's not. It's just not the same stuff. He's not the same prepped guy. He's never had more off the field crap in his life. He's never had I'm going to say a worse offensive line, but none of it's working. And so you got to acknowledge that all these people that put that put their head in the sand, it's not Brady. Brady's not the problem here. Brady, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. You're 100% wrong. And just because it's saying it that he's not playing well, and he hasn't played well all year, save a few games, it doesn't mean that it's all his fault. It doesn't.
He's somewhere in that 20% bracket. I'm not saying he's all of it, but he's in that.
But the people that
bracket.
are just saying, "Well, he's not the problem. He's way down the list." I disagree.
At the beginning of the year, I thought he was way down the list.
Yeah,
but I'm just being objective here. When your offense does nothing for 57 minutes, again, I'm going to blame most of the coaching because I think the play calling stinks, and they don't have a good line, and the skill pieces just aren't what they are anymore. But at the same time, he touches the ball every single play, and he's throwing 50 something times a game.
Yeah.
And he's throwing maybe 15, 20 passes that I actually go, oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I'll give James. Let me put Joe up here. He is not the biggest reason. Coaching and injuries are the biggest reason. Brady is not playing well, but not the main reason at all. I would agree with that. But people that just say that he's not the problem, I totally disagree with that. 100%. And have I done a 180 on Brady? Yeah, because he used to play well and now he doesn't. I'm just looking.
There's nothing wrong with doing a 180. It's called new information.
Right.
New information comes up can change your opinion.
Yes. And when I commented on him playing well and he was so superb because he's not anymore. So am I supposed to keep saying, "Oh, he's playing great"? No. Your opinion has to change based on the information.
He's having the worst statistical season of his entire 23-year career.
He's never been 6-7.
He's never been 6-7.
James says Evans and Brady are not fractured. You act like they hate each other, always looking for the conspiracy theory. Bottom line is this team is horribly coached. The Glazers were hoodwinked by Arians. Look, I'm not saying that they hate each other. What I'm saying is there's definitely a lot of body language on the field that they're not in sync.
Yeah. I don't disagree with your last point, though. The Glazers were hoodwinked by Arians. I don't disagree with that point at all. You think the Glazers look at this every single week and don't think, what the hell did Bruce Arians do to this team by giving us this head coach? You don't think they think that?
I think they do. I think it's not worked out.
I mean, I was hearing thing. We talked about Stroud's podcast, how he saw the Glazers or other people did, whatever.
Is pissed,
and he looks pissed off. Yeah. And of course he is. I mean, he knows that this coach ain't it. Yeah. They know it ain't it.
Well, they gotta know that. And I don't know how they bring him back. I really don't. I don't care if they lose, if they don't make the playoffs at all. I don't care what scenario it is. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way you can. And even if they make the playoffs, the standard's got to be better. The division's not going to be this bad forever. No, not forever. But it is bad now, and it's not changing overnight. I don't see Desmond Ridder, becoming the second, coming of Tom Brady.
Yeah, and again, James, I can. How many more O lines? There's a lot of good. Justin Herbert, did you see him in duress on Sunday night?
Yeah,
he can move.
Yeah, he can move. That's right.
And he's got a rocket strapped to him.
Yeah.
Mahomes can do whatever he wants because he's Mahomes. Burrow took a team to the Super Bowl that had no business being in the Super Bowl. Their offensive line, he got sacked like 70 times.
Yeah.
There are quarterbacks in this league that have bad O-lines that do it.
And you
they move.
James says, fix the offensive line. What do you want to get out a wrench? It's not that easy, bro. You got a left tackle who's been playing with one arm all year and nobody behind him that can play. Your right tackle's been hurt. You're inside. You were dumb enough to keep Luke Gedeke there for 6 games. That's on the coaching staff. Hainsey's been good. He's not been, he's been all right, but he's not Ryan Jensen. And Shaq Mason's been fine. He's been good. He's been okay. But it's an average offensive line. It's not a horrible offensive line. But the problem is you need an excellent offensive line when you have a 45-year-old Tom Brady.
And if he doesn't trust you,
right,
it doesn't even matter what you are.
Yeah.
Because there are games that I said it. I think I said it in the New Orleans game. I thought he could have trusted his O-line better in that game. But he didn't. That's just what it is. He doesn't trust the guys to begin with. So the ball's coming out. You're getting bubble screen after bubble screen. And to an extent, Byron knows that. And that's probably why he's calling all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it right. It just is what it is.
Yeah, everybody's bad, and that includes Brady. That's what we're saying. And it's a different Brady this year. There's no question about it for all the reasons I answered, which clearly, James, you're not listening to. The new info was not just the Mike Silver. I didn't need Mike Silver's stupid article to look and see that this offense is dysfunctional. It has been all year, for God's sakes. I don't need a Mike Silver article.
The Houston Texans have more touchdowns than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's my new information.
There you go.
That's my information.
There you go. But Brady's great. Brady's nothing wrong with Brady. Sorry. Not quite. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we will talk with James Pietrowka from Fox Sports. He did a game with Mike Leach earlier this year and had a production meeting with him. So we'll talk a little bit about Mike Leach. And he also was working with Kurt Warner a couple of weeks ago for the Monday night game against the Saints. So we'll get a little information from James Pietrowka on, because Kurt's the one who put out the video, Is Brady Broken? And broke it all down for you, James, if you want to go look at that. All right, quick break. We'll be back. 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call, 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others, 888-325-0605. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Golden Diamond Source. All right, JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julie collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We appreciate you guys jumping in. Brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you need some help with losing weight, testosterone replacement therapy, which I highly recommend. Many of you guys, your testosterone is low and you don't even know. So go get your blood work done, and they'll create a personalized program just for you and monitor you correctly as a doctor would. Some of these other clinics really don't do that. They're just pushing out testosterone and, just making their money. This is a full, healthy approach to testosterone replacement therapy. So it's different when you do it the right way with BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Go to the website and get an appointment, and they'll go after hours for you if you need be. So get a doctor that's zeroed in on you personally, and that is Chris Lugo, BAMMC.com. All right, I want to welcome in our good friend James Petralka from Fox Sports with his festive holiday background. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you? Just to let you know, I have to use this for my real job, so that's why it has to be plain background.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Whatever boring company it is you work for, I don't know. That's all right. So let's. You told me that you worked a game with Mike Leach. Tell me the circumstances of that and what that was like, giving that guy an open mic for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's funny. It was right after he left Texas Tech. He went into broadcasting for, I don't know how long he did, a year or 2 years, but we did a game, and it was funny. It was I'm pretty sure it was his first game, and he would just great night. Couldn't have been nicer to everybody. One of the funnier things was we walked in the booth and we're sitting there. Roger Twibel, if you remember, Roger Twibel was the play-by-play guy. And he said, "Oh, look at these new binoculars I got." So Mike Leach takes the binoculars and he's like, "Now I see why we won the Gulf War." Just totally random.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, during the game, he was kind of quiet, and he said afterward, he's like, I would see something and it would be like 3 plays. I'm ready to say something and 3 plays would go by. And I was like, oh, I can't, he said the speed, it caught up to him. And he also said, he goes, "You guys were great with the numbers and stuff." He said, heck, when I was coaching, I didn't even know who the guys were. I would just say, throw it to the tall guy, the guy who caught all the balls in practice.
He seemed to, at least in a public way, very simple man, and things were very simple to him. You don't win all those football games and do the innovations
right.
and put up the yards that he did without being super smart. So that was all kind of a little bit of a humility act, was it not?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, the thing is, and I think one of the biggest things that you can see it is the tributes come in from other coaches and how much, for all of his eccentricities and everything, how much other coaches really respected him as a football coach. And look, he won at places where no one else has won.
Right.
Texas Tech, Washington State, Mississippi State, they had some success, but, he wasn't coaching at Alabama or, so yeah, he was a brilliant football mind, and all the other stuff along with it, but he really, really was a great football coach.
Yeah. And I think there was a time when I think it was, I'm not sure which coaching replacement cycle we were in, whether it was Schiano or or but Mike Leach was a leading candidate for the Bucs job. It would have been very interesting to see him as a professional coach, especially in Tampa Bay, because he loves Pirates.
Right? Yeah, he would fit in perfectly with that. I think he would have been good. I think he would have. The way he treats, players and would obviously have to be a little bit different in the NFL than in college. But I think he would have adjusted. It'd have been interesting to see.
He's got an Arians vibe to him.
Yeah.
I think there would be similar style coaches and people. As nice a guy as he is, and everybody loves his really affable personality. He also was a hard ass, guys that played for him would tell you that, he was a hard ass. He demanded a lot of his players, didn't take any BS and, and he won. As you mentioned, he won in those places. So very interesting stuff. All right. So, what do you make of this Bucs mess? What are people talking about? I know you worked the game with Kurt Warner a couple weeks ago. And Kurt did that video about a month and a half ago. Is Brady broken? And he was, kind of one of the first to really say that on a national level. What the hell's going on with Brady? He's missing basic reads. What was his take on what he saw?
He was confused. I think confused. He's kind of like you said, is he broken? And one of the things he kept saying was, they're not doing it. And he said, I can't figure out why. It's hard to figure out exactly what's missing. And then he said, after the game, he said, it looks, for 48 minutes or 58 minutes, it looks like he's, old and can't do it anymore. Then all of a sudden he comes back and leads 2 drives and wins the game.
Right.
And he said, that's how great he is. But he said he was actually a little bit flustered trying to figure out exactly what, what was missing. Some of it's, he's missing throws and, missing reads and, some of it's the guys around him, but he was befuddled. He really was.
It's not the same Tom Brady.
Right. Yeah.
And we've talked so much about it, but I really do believe a lot of it, his superpower has always been his preparation and his mind. And it doesn't seem like he has that edge. Like you never get the feeling this year that the Bucs offense is one step ahead of the defense, from a strategic standpoint, right? It always feels like they're doing stuff that there's always 7 guys waiting for the player when he throws the pass or something, right? It's just no creativity.
Yeah, and again, it's hard to figure out, exactly why he's not on the same page with, Mike Evans at times, and then he makes, great throws at other times, and so some of it's a protection. It's hard to put a finger on exactly what it is because there's so many different things that happen. It's not just one thing. It's not, it seems like it's a combination of things. In one play, they're not on the same page. One play he overthrows him. Next play he underthrows a guy. Yeah. And it's, the running game, hasn't been there as much. And, I know, kind of criticize him a little bit for trying to run the ball too much, but a lot of things come off of the running game. If you're not able to run the ball, that gives the defenses big advantages. And I think that's been part of the problem too.
Yeah, no doubt. James Pachacco, Fox Sports, joining us here. So you got Arizona, Denver this week, right? So it's Colt McCoy and not Kyler Murray.
And Brett Rippon.
And Brett. Ooh, wow. What a headlining game you got this week, huh?
Yeah.
So you have a production meeting on how to put lipstick on this.
Right. Yeah. Rippon, it's interesting. I did a couple games earlier this year with Mark Schlereth. Right. And he was talking about Rippon. He spoke really highly of him. How he said he throws the ball really well. So I'm actually kind of anxious to see him because we had the Broncos earlier this year, and Russell just physically he doesn't look the same. Yeah. I don't know. He was kind of throwing the ball off his back foot and kind of hopping as he was throwing it, not stepping in. And I think physically he's just, even before obviously now he's got the concussion, but earlier in the year, I think physically he just hasn't been the same.
And there's a lot of I think similarities to Russell Wilson and Tom Brady this year, right? They're new, it's a new coaching staff, so to speak, because there's no Arians, right? And a totally new coaching staff in Denver with a guy in Nathaniel Hackett that looks completely over his skis. Mm-hmm. So the quarterbacks, they need good coaching. They need good people around them, even the great ones, right? Or they're going to look really, really bad. So
Yeah, I think this. And it's interesting too with these two teams. There's some similarities because they're both kind of locked in. The Cardinals are locked in. Murray's now hurt, but with Kingsbury, they give him a long-term deal. could each of these teams make a coaching change? After this year, it's, could be, there's talk, one of the things they say, I've heard that like with Hackett, they thought they were getting Favre. I'm not Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So Hackett was his coach. So that was kind of one of the things they brought it, wanted to bring him in for that. So yeah, and that's a big part of it. A quick note, coaching, a couple of years ago, there's a guy named Carl Smith who's been a long time. He's been offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. He's with the Seahawks. And we were talking to Pete Carroll before a game because I've known Carl for a while. We have some mutual friends, and Chris Myers knows him. And anyway, so we were talking to Pete, and Pete's like, Carl Smith is a guru. He said no one knows who he is, but he said he listed, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Matt Leinart. All these guys had their best year under Carl Smith.
Yeah.
And now, and Carl's still in Seattle. Geno Smith is having a great year. So maybe there's something to that.
Interesting.
And that's one of the things I think that's fascinating in a big picture with the NFL. There's a lot of guys like that you don't know who they are, but have a huge impact. Tom Moore is a guy like that. Always kind of been a little bit under the radar, but Tom is one of the most brilliant offensive minds in football for a long time.
Yeah. Where's he been this year?
Yeah. He's also 85 years old. So.
He might be slipping a little bit. Who knows? But we'll just blame him, right? We'll blame him. Everybody else. You'll get to see Arizona, and then you can report back as the Bucs got him in 2 weeks on Christmas night. They go
right.
And Arizona team looked a lot like this Bucs team, like they're just kind of giving up, and just are not fighting. I mean, I hate to say that about the Bucs, but I mean, you look at Brady on the sideline, yelling at him to fight harder. And he said the game day effort was embarrassing. This podcast. I mean, this team just looks like it's just out of sync, no chemistry, and they're not really following their leader like they did the last couple.
It's almost like they're having the Super Bowl hangover 2 years later.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, very, very true. And maybe last year was fun to watch with the 13 wins, but it kind of got ugly at the end as well. So, all right, partner, good stuff as always. We appreciate it. We'll get you back on next week and give us more insight into the Arizona Cardinals as the Bucs get ready. We don't give a crap about
Have a good
one. The Broncos are awful, and they're hurt, and they're bad, and there's a lot of bad football this year.
There is. Quarterback play has been piss poor this year. Piss poor.
I was listening to Peter King talk a little bit about that, and scoring is down, and is the league going to do something about the roughing the passer penalties, which I think they need to.
The penalties are down though. It's weird. Like I think they were just flaunting that they're down by like 60 something penalties this year.
What, the roughing the passer?
The roughing the passers.
Really?
It just seems like they're getting more softer, but they're not calling them as frequently as they did last year.
I think they've happened in big moments.
Big moments, yeah.
That have changed games big time.
Yeah.
The Bucs got a win out of it. We remember famously against Atlanta. I don't like it because it's a penalty. It's 15 yards. It usually negates a sack.
Yeah.
I mean, you go from a sack, which kills a drive, to 15 yards, which gives you I think a 60-70% chance of scoring on that drive to get a 15-yard penalty. So it's such a dramatic penalty. To me, it has to be a higher threshold of intent.
Yeah.
Like I look at the Keanu O'Neal play and I say, that is not roughing the passer. Or maybe there should be a different classification of running into the passer and a roughing the passer.
Doesn't college have that though?
No.
They have different variations or everything, like just you're out of the game.
No, the only thing they have that on is the punter.
The punter,
running into the punter and roughing the punter. And maybe there should be a running into the quarterback instead of a roughing the quarterback. That's a 5-yard penalty and not an automatic first down.
I just don't see how it. And listen, I'm not.
Because that play Keanu O'Neal play is not. He's not intent. His intent was not to use his helmet as a weapon. He got a free shot. The guy didn't see him coming. His face mask hit the shoulder first, which brought his helmet down a little bit, and it hit. And there was helmet to helmet contact, but it wasn't.
The problem with this rule, like we've been saying, first of all, quarterbacks are all different shapes and sizes, and Brock Purdy is the smallest quarterback starting in the league now,
right?
At like 6'1", something like that. I mean, you're asking him, you can't hit him low, you can't hit him high. So you're giving him just this tiny little box.
Yeah.
And at real time, you're asking somebody who's trying to make a play with all that adrenaline built up in the moment.
Right.
You're
and
asking
the other
them,
person is moving.
they're moving. You have an open window, and you're looking around like, man, there's nobody around me. You got a small window to make this happen, and you gotta first of all, you gotta
you can't land on them.
No, you can't land on them either.
either.
You gotta squint your eyes, find where that little box is in their chest,
ridiculous.
and then you gotta nicely land to the side. And like Jalen Phillips, that's
just dumb.
That was the worst one I think I've seen.
Yeah.
This entire season,
and
maybe ever.
You can't make those, and they're trying to legislate quarterbacks getting hurt, and you can't do it. It's football. I just don't like it. I don't like it.
No,
it's such a game changer. And then Keon O'Neal, my God, just scrape the ball, take the ball away for God's sakes. Go for the ball. That's in the middle. You know.
What was I gonna say? What James was talking about there with the Broncos? I tell you, remember when we had the 40 days, we were trying to figure out who the Bucs were going to have at quarterback. We were like really banging the drum for Russell Wilson.
I loved Russell Wilson his entire career.
I still love Russell Wilson, but you know what's painfully clear here? Pete Carroll was right. Not to move off of him, but remember like all those years where Pete Carroll was like, or everybody was like asking, why don't you let Russ throw the ball more? Why don't you let him just run the offense? All those things, let him take control. The whole let Russ cook thing. You think Pete Carroll knew? That's not what he can do. I know what he can do because now Denver, he's trying to be like a true pocket quarterback. He's not running it much at all.
No.
And he's not that.
He's not that guy.
He stinks.
He can do both. He has to do both.
He stinks, though, as a true pocket quarterback.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He has been brutal.
Well, go back in his career and think of all the big plays that he's made. How many have come from the pocket and how many have been outside the pocket? I would say 75% of his big plays, his explosive plays, come outside the pocket.
Yeah, and this week when they were playing against Kansas City, they were down by like 4 touchdowns, and I don't know what happened. They just said, "All right, we're just going to play. We got nothing to lose."
Yeah.
And they kind of let him do his own thing, like run around, play your own game, and all of a sudden they started scoring points, and they lost by like 7, I think.
Shocking development.
But I'm just thinking, like, we were like so banging the drum for Russell Wilson. I'm just thinking hypothetically, if he had been in this offense, maybe like if he can move it, it would help a little bit.
Of course. Yeah.
But at the same time, it would have been a disaster having to watch him try to figure out what to do with this offense.
Yeah.
As a pocket passer.
But I don't, if you got a bad offensive line, if you got an ineffective offensive line, you need a guy that can move. You do. I mean, that's kind of obvious, isn't it? You got, because you can run bootlegs, you can run RPOs that keep your pass rush at a minimum. There's a lot of different things that teams are doing offensively that you cannot do with Brady. That's just a fact. And that doesn't make Brady a bad dude or a bad quarterback. It just, again,
and I'll answer
everything at this point of his career, everything has to be in place for him to be effective.
And we can answer James's last comment here. He said this was his last comment. You could clear because again, I feel like some of the things you're saying are getting taken out of context here. Yeah. It seems like you would be upset if Brady came back. That amazes me. So I'll ask you right now: if Tom Brady says he wants to come back to the Buccaneers next year, what is your response to that?
What are the options?
Really?
Yeah. What are the options?
Really?
Yeah. What are the options? I mean, if there are other better options. And I think he's 45 years old, people, and he doesn't move. The league has, but yes, if you put, let's do it again. Let's get Ryan Jensen back. Let's move Hainsey to left guard. You got Wirfs. You probably need to move Wirfs to left tackle and probably draft the right tackle. You bring the receivers back. Maybe Devin Tompkins takes over that number 3 receiver role. Yeah, I could see it working. Absolutely. Now is another option, the Harbaugh Anthony Richardson combination. I don't know. Is that an option? Can you can't snap your fingers and make it happen? I mean, what are the other options? Most of the other options are not as good as the one with Brady.
I just feel like as long as Tom Brady wants to keep playing and keep choosing this place to be at, you have to keep. I just feel like you got to keep.
Is Byron going to be here? Byron's not leaving if Brady's here.
I don't.
It's going to be the same coaching staff,
the
same everything.
A lot of questions. What's the roster going to look like? Who's not going to be on this roster next year?
You really want to run? You guys really want to run this back? We want to run this back. We're just saying the fact that Ryan Jensen got hurt is the reason that all of this went south.
No, it's part of it. There's a lot of things that are part of it, but no, it's Tom Brady. Like if he says he wants to come back to Tampa Bay for another year and run it back, and then you.
Yeah, of course you do it.
You do it.
Of course you do it. Yeah. Yeah, because there are no other concrete options that you can say, choose A, B, C, or D. I think you keep Brady.
Yeah.
And here's the the likelihood is we don't win the Super Bowl. You know why? Because there's 32 teams. Okay, there's 31 other teams that get paid too, and everybody's there'll be a team out there that goes all in and doesn't get injured like the Eagles this year that are going to look great.
Yeah,
and are going to be better than you. And so the chances are Tom Brady comes back, we're not going to win the Super Bowl. That's the chances. There's also a chance that we could. The magic could happen again.
I disagree, though. I disagree because I'm just saying, look at the NFC field this year. And I know things change a little bit, but we had a massive quarterback overhaul last year. We're not going to really have that this year. We don't have those names in free. I mean, Brady's going to be out there, Jimmy G. It's really about it.
What's happening with Lamar Jackson? I think there's going to be some movement. I'm just saying that the field is weak right now in the NFC. You'll probably have 3 or 4 rookies starting next year too.
That's what I'm saying. The field in the NFC is very weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can run it back with Brady and have close to the pieces and get some health, because health has just killed them. Let's be real here.
Yeah. No.
I think you owe it to yourself and to Brady to do it again, even though it's been just ridiculous this year with a new head coach. I would have to make some changes. If I get Brady back, you definitely got to have a new OC. Something's got to change from that perspective. They need freshness, a fresh look at this offense. But if Brady stays, a lot of this offense is going to be the same. This is his offense. A new OC ain't bringing in an air raid offense. Okay. That's not happening. It's still going to be somebody that's going to be at the direction of Tom Brady. Nobody's going to be at the direction of Tom Brady.
Everybody's going to be at the direction of Tom Brady.
He's not calling plays. He's not calling plays. That's not his MO. He wants to execute the plays, not call the plays.
Well, if he's the one drawing up the game plan, then those are his plays.
He signs off on the plays. Like him and Byron have a conversation. I like these plays, plays, but he's not in control of who's calling them when.
Well, he can change a lot of them.
Was he going to change every single play?
It looks like a lot of
I think he just wants to be a good soldier and execute the game plan.
No, he's not. They're not bringing in a whole new system for Tom Brady. That's not happening. He's going to be the driving force. And look, these were most of his plays for the last 2 years too. This just in. So what's different? The offensive line, Gronk, and the weapons are different. And that's a tremendous difference. So, yeah, when we run it back, will Godwin be better next year? Yes. Will Evans be better next year? I don't know about that. I mean, he ain't getting younger. Will Russell Gage be back next year?
Mm-hmm.
We've paid him a lot of money. Is he going to be better? Is the offensive line going to be better? All that stuff has to be better for it to work. Everything has to go perfect for it to work with Brady, because you got to have the O-line. You got to have the weapons. Other teams, other quarterbacks don't need as much. That's fair, right?
Sorry, I'm just reading the comment section right here.
Okay, what do we got now? As long as BA is in the front office, coaches aren't going anywhere. Light is tied to BA, and those are BA's.
Well, that's got to change. And I said that earlier this week. If Bruce Arians is a big reason why we know he's a big reason why this entire coaching staff is here. Love BA, but everybody needs from that regime just got to be flushed out.
Yeah.
It's got to be flushed out.
Yeah.
Now, James is taking exception to you vouching for Anthony Richardson.
I'm not.
We're just putting scenarios out there. They're just putting scenarios out there.
My God. You have to rebuild. Who are you rebuilding with? Do I want it to be Anthony Richardson? No, I don't want that. But I mean, I'd rather have a veteran quarterback come in here. But the problem, if Brady leaves, are we not going to draft a quarterback? Is it going to be Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert? I don't think so. We're going to draft a quarterback. And you know what? We need an athletic quarterback, somebody who can move. Who's going to be, if
replace his name with Hendon Hooker, because that's who I'd rather have Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
He can move.
Yeah.
He's not going to play right away.
I got news for you, James. Brady's not going to play for 50 years. Okay. Eventually it's going to end, and it's probably going to end after this year, So I don't even know what we're arguing about here. If we rebuild, who you got? Who you picking up? Who you got? You got 100% surefire pick here? Who's that guy? Because you'll be the first one in the history of the NFL.
So I'm saying
to draft somebody and know exactly what's going to happen.
It's really down to two scenarios at this point. Brady says you're coming back, and guess what? The band's coming back together again.
Right.
You're going to do what you can with the cap to see who you're going to have to lose and who you could keep, and you're going to go for one more year. That's scenario number one.
Right.
Scenario number two is he retires again, this time for real, or goes somewhere else. And now it's a full-on rebuild.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're getting a quarterback in the. I know this franchise has never had success getting a quarterback in the first round. So I'm not saying I love the option, but you're really kind of back into a corner because, like, I got news for you, Kyle Trask is not playing a single snap next year at quarterback. There's no way.
Let's hope not.
Because he can't even get in front of Blaine Gabbert.
Let's hope not.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
So they're going to end up drafting a quarterback, and you're going to get a new head coach. Byron would be gone. I think Byron's going to be gone regardless. But Byron will be gone, and you're going full rebuild.
Full rebuild.
And it's going to be lean for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's part of it.
That's your two scenarios there.
Yeah. And who are you going to get? You got to draft the quarterback.
And you're not getting Young, and you're not getting Stroud. So guess what? You're looking at Hendon Hooker. You're looking at, I mean, I'm just saying, that's probably 4 and 5 on the quarterback. Max Duggan is not an NFL quarterback. You can pipe dream that all you want.
I like me some Max Duggan. That boy's got a heart of a lion.
You know what? He has Taylor Heineke vibes for me. I'm out.
Dude he's a scrapper. He's a scrapper. When he wins the national championship at TCU, what are you going to say then?
He ain't winning anything. No.
He's not.
No.
I love that dude, though. All right, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about another interesting quarterback, Jack Miller, and our Gator Report brought to you by Jeeves Law Group as we preview the Las Vegas Bowl. So stay with us. Coming up, 3 minutes. Oh, Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Golden Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Golden Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And, of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julie collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at theGoldenDiamondSource.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating, or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're going to do our Gator Report here, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES Law Group, who remind you some holiday travel tips out there. Be safe. You're rushing around for the holidays, and no drinking and driving. Use Lyft, use Uber. If you get a DUI, I mean, the cops are going to be out every night looking for impaired drivers. Don't need to be doing that anyway. Use the Lyft, use the Uber. You do not want to get stopped for DUI, but if you do, call the Jeeves Law Group. Weather is going to be beautiful here, so we remind you that there's going to be bikers out there, people on, pedestrians, so be careful. You're going to see more and more people, kids out of school, so be careful with that as well. They remind you about pet safety as well with the pets out there. If you have people coming to your house, make sure you mention that, you have pets there. You don't want any incidents happening there. People do get sued for pet bites. That's not good. And they're a big sponsor. The Jeeves Law Group is a big sponsor of the Breezer, the free ride trolley, open air trolley downtown and in Ybor City. So don't forget to use that as well. If you're going to Ybor, doing a pub crawl, a Santa pub crawl or something like that, take those open air trolleys. Do not get behind the wheel when you're out doing your holiday parties. So those safety tips brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group as we do the Gator Report here. And it's going to be an interesting football game, but once again for Florida, it's more of a, what do you got next year? Like, this is like the first game, the preseason game for next season for Billy Napier, because Jack Miller is going to be your quarterback. Obviously, Anthony Richardson has declared for the NFL, and Jalen Kitna was kicked off the team for those child porn charges. So that falls to Jack Miller, who was at Ohio State and one of the top recruits in the 2019 class. And now he gets his shot. 6'3", has a cannon for an arm, was rated as one of the top prospects coming out. So this will be his first start for the Gators, and it'll be interesting to see. They still they have most of their offensive line that's playing. I don't think anybody's opted out on the offensive line, but Osiris Torrance has opted out of the game, their All-American guard. So he's out. Justin Shorter, one of his top receivers, is not playing as well. Justin Shorter to the NFL? Really? Okay.
He's going to the NFL?
He's not playing. And Ventrell Miller, the top tackling linebacker, is also not playing. That's a huge hit for them. So the defensive tackle Gervon Dexter announced he will be headed to the NFL, but he is going to play in the Las Vegas Bowl. He said that was never a question. So they'll have their running game with Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne to lean on, and a good offensive line. Problem is, Oregon State's really good on defense. They're 20th in the nation.
Second in the Pac-12.
In rushing defense. Yep. Second in the Pac-12. So they're not easy to run on. And Jonathan Smith's team got a big win over Oregon, came back, great comeback win, 38-34, scored the last 21 points of the game. So they're coming in on high.
Yeah, a very quiet 9-3 team.
Yeah.
There. I mean, we've been talking about the resurgence of the Pac-12 and USC, UCLA. Oregon was getting all that buzz, and Oregon State goes out there and whoops their rival there at home to finally get a win over them. And I think that Jonathan Smith, he's one of the up-and-coming head coaches, so much that they gave him an extension to try to sway him to stay from one of those big teams. So this is the worst thing for Florida to me, to have all this uncertainty in this bowl game. We got a guy starting his first game who we haven't really got a chance to look at much. You got receiving core not really there. Ventrell Miller, we've seen this defense without him.
Not good.
It's honestly been pitiful with him and without him. I just don't like this matchup for them. I really don't like this matchup. Oregon State, again, one of those teams that has a lot of momentum going into this game, and Florida seems like they're in a weird spot where they're recruiting a lot right now
Mhm.
and trying to keep guys invested and all that. And Billy Napier, to me, I just feel like there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, not a whole lot of focus on this bowl game.
Yeah, for Jack Miller, though, this is a big game for him because this is his audition, I guess, for next year. If you go out there and you play well or you beat the 14th ranked team in the nation in a bowl game with all those pieces that we just mentioned not in there, chances are your quarterback won next year.
Oh, absolutely.
And, of course, the Jalen Kitna thing, which is unfortunate. I mean, that kind of has elevated him to that stat that's given him that opportunity to go out there and do it. But he's got a lot of talent, like we said.
Yeah, he can throw the football, but I don't know who he's going to be throwing to. That's the problem. And Oregon State is, I mean, this is a game where, you come off a big win like Oregon, you're building for the future as well. Ben Gulbranson is their quarterback. He's started since October 8th for the Beavers. So he'll be playing, and he's played well off the Pac-12 Offensive Freshman of the Year. Damian Martinez is a really, really good running back. He's expected to play. He's been banged up a little bit, but he's expected to play. Linebacker Jack Coletto, who won the 2022 Horning Award, which is given annually to college football's most versatile player. He had 23 tackles, rushed for 6 touchdowns, so he's going to be playing. But they're all Pac-12. Cornerback Rajon Wright is out due to thumb surgery. So, I think that for Oregon State, it's on the West Coast. I'm guessing they're going to bring a lot of fans. I would doubt there's going to be a lot of Gator fans there, but it is Las Vegas, right? So maybe
I don't know. They might be out there at this point.
They may have a nice little trip out there to Vegas. So it's 2:30 start on Saturday, and the Gators are 6.5-point underdogs. So, listen, they beat Utah the first game of the year, right?
Yeah.
Much different team, obviously, with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. So, I mean, there's a reason Oregon State is favored in this one. If Florida were to win this game, that would be I think it would be a huge feather in the cap of Billy Napier. No question.
Yeah, because you go down to 6-7 if you lose this game, which, I mean, the record doesn't really matter. I'm more – this game, to me, it is what it is. It's kind of like last year.
It's about momentum,
I guess so, but
somebody's good young,
I guess so, but I'm more to me the more important thing with Billy Napier. Obviously, I mean, yeah, you want to see the young players play well and get some experience, but I think he's more worried about what's going on the recruiting trail, and at least I am. And Florida's 8th in the nation in recruiting right now.
Yeah,
and has some heavy hitters that they're involved with still. So he's killing it in that aspect. I think that's more important at the moment.
Yeah. And as Joe F. is a big Gator, reminds us, Miller is healthy now. He would have won the second spot this year had he been healthy. I mean, with all the credentials this kid had coming out, and highly recruited, I'm very anxious to see him play. And I think Gator fans are too. When you can get a look at your quarterback like this, and you mentioned it, like Miami's, as bad as their season was, they're still having a hell of a recruiting.
That team could go 0-12 and still bring in a top 20 class. Yeah, I'm so convinced.
They're bringing a lot of NIL money. And Cristobal is a good, great recruiter, and he's selling these kids that they're going to come in and play because we're bad.
Not a bad pitch.
No,
not a bad
Miami.
pitch.
Miami still has some cachet, and I think they'll probably look to the transfer portal as well. But you look at Florida State. They're going to be playing in Orlando, Oklahoma, a team that they can beat, and they're going to and tickets. My God, have you seen the tickets for this game?
I have not. No.
Lower level tickets for this game are going for $500. $500 for the freaking Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I ain't going. I mean, but that's the kind of like Florida State is. I mean, the fan base is energized. There aren't no opt-outs. They're looking at this as this is a takeoff game for next year, and this is a team that is really. I mean, they're focused on winning the ACC next year. And
I mean, look at the offense. The offense they're bringing back next year has a chance to be.
And you see the new tight end they just got.
Yeah, Jaheim Bell.
Yeah, Jaheim
so
Bell.
they're gonna have him there, and
hell.
They're going after another tight end also from a really small school, and he's deciding between FSU, Tennessee, and Auburn right now. So they're trying to bring both those guys in and have a tandem at tight end.
Wow.
And you're going to get Winston Wright, who apparently was the most accomplished of these transfers that came in this past year, who wasn't able to play because of the car accident. And then you have the running backs coming back. And Jordan Travis is going to be back too.
They're loaded.
I think it has potential to be a top 5 offense next year.
Oh, yeah, which I think they were this year.
They were close.
Yeah, they're going to be. And the offensive line just continues to get better. Continues to get better. They'll lose a couple, but they just continue to get better. So.
They're about to lose a recruiting battle, I'll tell you that one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think? I don't know. I don't know what running back wants to go to Florida State right now. It's a pretty crowded room. You're not going to play next year.
So is the UCF one, but
yeah, you're not going to play next year.
UCF's building right now.
They're building.
We're building specialness. We're going to have it. We're about to have an all Edgewater. The 5-star. We got a latest Citronaut. He's coming in soon. You see. Cedric Baxter. You take note. He's going to pick UCF over FSU. You watch. 5-star running back.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. We'll
see later today.
We'll see. For Florida State though, they're everything is on the rise, and they're I think their recruiting class was 15th at last check, and hopefully better. We'll see what they get in the portal as well. So bowl season is here. Anything else we missed today? Don't think so.
I don't believe so.
Bolts in Columbus tonight. I might see Brian Elliott, although Vassie's
Brian Elliott
really
isn't. He's in it tonight.
Yeah,
Sergachev likely out.
Sergey took one off the hand the other night, and he might be out for an extended period, maybe 2-3 weeks. Who knows? But hopefully not, because he's been playing really, really well. As the thunder rumbles outside, I remind you guys to be careful out there. There's tornado warnings out there. Today's going to be a rough day from a weather standpoint. So be chill. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Save the shopping for this weekend. All right. That'll do it for us. Our thanks to Dan Lucas, who joined us today, and James Petrauka. So if you want to hear any of that stuff, you can go download our app if you haven't already, FanStream Sports. You can listen on Twitter. Go replay it on Twitter. You can listen on Facebook and also our YouTube page. Please subscribe to that as well. We'll be back tomorrow with a complete preview of the Bucs and Bengals. We'll hear from Todd Bowles. We'll hear from Tom Brady, who's speaking today. So we'll have all that for you tomorrow. Hopefully Ken Hagan as well, County Commission Chair. So have a great day, everybody. Go Bolts.